tomorrow. Hey, there is a 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 tomorrow.
There you go.
Why, thank you. I've got my milk. I've got my baby. Okay, your baby's on the cord.
I've got my coffee.
Oh, you're lucky you just got coffee. I got a baby here.
And this coffee's hot.
Yeah. Mug. Oh, this thing's on?
Oh, right, okay. Hello and welcome to...
Don't pull that cord. Don't pull that cord, baby. Do you want to say hello? Just so you know, there is a baby here and we're not actually just pretending.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, cord's disappearing behind my back.
So yeah, welcome to Frame by Frame.
Frame by Crash.
Yeah.
Um,
Special infant edition.
Special. Yeah, the last infant edition went really well. That's alright, we're not killing him.
He just really wants milk.
Well, we've got 3 minutes.
You talking to me?
Did you have a brain tumor for breakfast?
Then who the hell else are you talking? You talking to me?
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like some clown that you into.
I'm Peter Binkman. We all go a little mad sometimes.
Man that doesn't spend time with his family can never be a real man.
Damn!
I'm kind of a big deal.
First thing my club is, do not talk about it like
Yeah, baby!
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Right, okay.
How you been?
So yeah, I've been alright. We had to have a 2-week hiatus because of half term and kids and stuff like that.
Because that's what all the cool kids do, right?
Yeah, and because we're cool kids, we took 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
But we're back, strong.
We're back strong.
Yeah, Stephen's currently surviving on 1 hour of sleep.
Yeah, that's fatherhood. And you're surviving with...
a brain full of fluid. So we thought we'd talk about something today.
Yeah, but what films have you seen lately?
I have been binge watching Game of Thrones.
I've been binge watching Outlander. Not that there's many of those to watch, but yeah. So how is Games of Thrones? Is it?
It started off, and I was like, I have no idea what the hype's all about. Why is everyone watching this?
What is the hype?
And
it's boobs, isn't it?
Well, typical. Who is it that distribute Game of Thrones? Who do everything now?
Is it, HBO?
HBO.
They do everything.
In typical HBO fashion, it starts with lots of boobs and sex, and so everyone goes, "Oh, there's boobs and sex in this. I'll watch it." You know what I mean?
And then everybody starts talking about the boobs and the sex.
But then halfway through, it starts. It's basically lots of people walking for great lengths of time.
Walking and talking.
Yeah.
Does George Lucas have anything to do with it?
So many plot points, but then towards the end of the series one, it just goes really good.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you're like, right, I need to see season 2. So we've got season 2, which starts strong and then goes slow and a bit boring, and then it gets really good again. And then I'm currently on season 3, which is actually really good.
Yeah, well, that's kind of like The Walking Dead. You know, the Walking Dead starts off strong. The mid-season kind of gets a little bit plodding, and they're just walking from one place to another, and walking and talking. There seems to be a lot of walking and talking TV at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But well, that's television for you. I mean, it's a strange era at the moment of television because there seems to be a lot of TV shows coming out from multiple sources. You don't just get 4 big shows. You probably got about 10 to 20 shows that have started over the last 2 years, and a lot of them are coming out from Netflix, Amazon, which is interesting. It's an interesting time, but it's I think we're definitely past the golden age of television writing. I don't think television writing is getting as strong. I think it's getting a little bit lazy.
I suppose there's something to be said of David Lynch walking away from Twin Peaks because they weren't going to fund the writing of it. There wasn't enough money being put into the script, and that's why he walked away.
Yeah, he knows.
But now, obviously, they're putting more money in. There's going to be twice as many episodes, so he's back again.
brilliant.
which I'm very excited about.
That's the thing as well. There's a lot of revived television coming out soon.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Got the
That's
X-Files
huge.
coming back, obviously Twin Peaks was mentioned.
I think they're just trying to get people before they die.
Well, maybe, because that old Lynch now, he's nearly 70, isn't he?
Well,
68, 69?
He's still young if you think about it. I mean, the directors are directing until they're 80.
You think about it, transcendental meditation and coffee. That's all you need.
That's all you
and
need.
then you live as long as Lynch.
Yeah.
Live
yeah.
as long as Lynch. Live
Lynch as long as live. I don't know. Well, yeah, I think that's. It's an interesting time in television, but yeah, I'm not too sure about the strength in the storytelling. But they know how to get their cliffhangers and their. Sometimes I kind of feel as though writers get a chance to. They have to do standalone episodes more often than arcs. And they have to resolve things. I don't like when they set something up at the end of an episode and they're back at home with the next episode.
The scripts are quite. You can sort of second guess what they're going to say in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
You know, like there'll be a phrase and you think he's going to qualify it with blah, and then he does.
Yes.
But then there's a few episodes that were directed by Neil Marshall, who did The Descent and Dog Soldiers, and you can just tell because I think he's a really talented director. Yeah. And when he's on board, you're kind of like, right, here we are. This is really good. It was towards the end of series 2. It was like a big battle episode, and I was like, God, that was really good. Who directed that? So I had to look back, and there goes Neil Marshall. I was like,
there you go.
There we go.
There you go.
That guy knows how to.
Writers and directors, you just got to have the right ones, and it shows. It really shows.
That puts the right in writer.
That's a very direct way of putting it.
That was good, wasn't it?
Well,
so, as we're talking about TV series and how writing may not, what's really directly related to that is sci-fi genre. Let's talk about that.
Science fiction. You like science fiction?
I like science fiction.
Is it a good genre to kind of get into?
I think it is. Yeah.
Is it always the same? I mean, we talked about action cinema a couple of weeks ago, and we started to piece together what are the codes and conventions, if we want to go into film studies talk, of that genre. I mean, science fiction. I mean, I'd like to set up a rule first of all.
Okay.
I think we need to talk about hardcore science fiction and
I'm glad you said science fiction after hardcore.
Hard-boiled, sorry. I said hard-boiled science fiction. They call it hardcore or hard-boiled. I can't remember now. Let's skip the Star Wars talk, can we?
Okay. I'm fine with that.
Because I think it's been done to death and there's nothing I can add.
Well, I've got a list here of 100 top sci-fi films. Let's see if we agree with them being sci-fi.
Okay, let's go with 100, yeah? Okay, that's great. Sounds like a plan. Are we going for... Is this in any particular order, or...?
Don't know. London filmed 100 best sci-fi films.
And it's starting at 100.
It's starting at 100, so it's going... So
Independence Day, out of 100, I think it was a lot higher than that, I would say. It was very much anticipated, as you...
Yeah, we've discussed that.
You talked about that and how... Because I was excited about it. I couldn't wait for that.
Yeah, so I think it's when, you market something really well.
Police and the fire departments are asking...
It is morning.
Stay off the phone.
You wake up.
Hey, come on.
You greet your loved ones. You grab the morning paper. And although it seems like any ordinary day, it isn't. For one extraordinary reason.
A historic and unprecedented event has occurred. The question of whether or not we are alone in the universe has been answered.
This is so cool.
More ships have just arrived over India, England, and Germany.
I really don't think they flew 90 billion light years to come down here and start a fight.
We've got to stop them! They're going to kill us all!
They're using our own satellites against us. The clock is ticking.
Okay.
As a standalone sci-fi film, what do you think of Independence Day?
Well, if you look at the era, 1996, science fiction was a little bit lackluster.
Yeah.
Around about that time. I mean, they were bringing out a couple of Star Trek movies, Get Off the Cord. They were bringing out Star Trek movies every 2 years, and that was kind of like the only thing that people were looking forward to. That people had just been hearing in the grapevine that Star Wars was coming back, so maybe there was a little bit of hype around science fiction in general.
Yeah.
So Independence Day was kind of like a precursor to that. I think it got in there before the prequels came along, and I'm just going to leave that now. He doesn't want it. Yeah, I rate it quite high, but it does have its generic problems, and I think the one problem in there was Randy Quaid as a weak link. Will Smith was okay.
He was comic relief.
He was comic relief, and Jeff Goldblum is just hilarious. Just he should have just been his movie.
I love his dad.
Oh yeah.
He's great.
We win the day. The 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday, but as the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
That's what I call a close encounter.
What did you think was the strength of Independence Day?
I think the spectacle of it. Do you remember the first time you see the ship just come out of those clouds? And it was like, I think the sound editing was really well done. And when it's like flying over, it's like roars and stuff coming out. It sounds like a dinosaur roaring, you know, as it's coming over the city, and it just encompasses the entire city. And it was like such a
strong,
strong image, you know.
Yeah.
And I think the script's a little bit dodgy.
The
film
solution
sort of has a bit of everything, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It has a bit of elements of horror in there when they're doing they've got the body, the alien body, and they're trying to get the biomechanical suit open. It's a little bit scary, you know.
But how was now I've got to get his name right. The guy who was president,
Bill Pullman.
Very young, very.
I think I think he can pull a really good performance.
Pullman
can pull man.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he's a little bit cheesy in there.
A bit.
He lost his wife in it, which was a sad moment. It was well done, and his little daughter. So what he does is get in a plane and leave his daughter all on her own to try and fight. I belong in the air. You wouldn't do that.
Yeah, that's like Darth. Well, Star Wars. Sorry, I'm breaking my rule. That's Darth Vader saying, "That's it. I'm going to get into my TIE fighter and I'm going to go fight those rebels personally myself." Yeah. You know, but I don't know why they do that with leaders. You know, leaders would never make that kind of a decision.
No, but it's a good film. I think it's good.
Yeah, it's a good film.
Yeah. So next, 2010. I've never seen it.
That would be the 2010.
Yeah.
That's the sequel to 2001.
Let's quote, my God.
If this date is correct, then there's something down there.
Something extraordinary is going to happen.
2010, the year we make contact. Rated PG, starts Friday, December 7th.
It's a very good movie, actually. It kind of reminds me of Outlands. Is it Outlands or with Sean Connery?
Yeah.
They kind of I think they were influenced by Ridley Scott's Alien. They wanted to kind of make the view of it a little bit more rougher around the edges, and it wasn't as clean as 2001, although it was brilliantly shot. It was just fun to watch, and Helen Mirren's in it as well as a Russian. You got this is tricky. The guy who was in Jaws, he should be
Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider was the the kind of main guy who was on the mission, and it was okay, but there was nothing spectacle about it. It was.
Must be different.
Peter Hines directed.
No,
Richard Donner. Richard, no, he didn't.
No, get up.
Silly. Peter Hines.
The workers at this mining town on the second moon of Jupiter are dying, and the new marshal wants to know why.
How do you know it was a suicide? There's no other explanation.
They wrapped them up and jettisoned the body halfway to the sea.
Can you imagine trying, like, 2001, done by Kubrick?
Man.
Imagine trying to follow shoes.
Rated R.
That must be daunting.
Now playing at a theater near you.
Exactly.
Well, next in the list here is Superman, but I wouldn't say that's sci-fi. I'd say it's a superhero movie, which is a genre of itself now, isn't it?
It is. It's its own genre now. I mean, science fiction would be the element of he came from another planet. He's an alien, and he's come from another planet. A lot of the superhero movies are humans getting bitten by something that is of a radiation, or getting dumped in lava, or just deciding I'm going to make a bat suit. And scare people.
And talk like Barry White.
Yeah. But Superman is, in his own itself, a kind of a different superhero because he is from another planet.
So Pitch Black.
Pitch Black. I remember watching that way over in Australia, and it's a concept movie. It's a movie built on the idea of how much can we get away with having darkness and Vin Diesel.
And he's not like an anti-hero because he's a criminal.
They
need him to help them.
Again, it kind of set a trend. This movie, it's one of those trendsetter movies where it's the dark, rough.
He's eating the wire.
So I may lose contact with everybody in any moment, but I
don't want him to get an electric shock through his face.
You get that from headphones?
I don't know. Let me find out.
Just try it. I need you to guinea pig your way through this. I think you do need that Dodie, and I can reach it. But what were we talking about? Sorry, Pitch Black.
It's best quote. I absolutely believe in God, and I absolutely hate the.
Okay, well that's okay. That's not really a brilliant quote.
No,
it's not really well written. But yeah, it's okay. But I think that it was kind of. I mean, it's not Mad Max Fury Road. I mean, if you kind of compare that it's that kind of movie.
It was not Independence Day.
It's not Independence Day.
You know what I mean? Moving on.
Yeah,
Serenity.
Serenity.
I love this film.
I've heard of this film. That's the
Joss Whedon. Yeah,
Joss Whedon.
I love this. This is one of my favourite films. Definitely my top 10. I think it's just a little perfect little space western. It's fantastic.
Yeah. And that's it, space western, which is a genre that doesn't always get a lot of coverage apart from Wild Wild West.
No.
Cowboys and Aliens.
Yeah.
But Serenity, I think it's probably the best of that bunch.
And just Summer Glau in it just being this really badass.
Yeah.
You know, the scene where she just loses it and beats up an entire bar of people is just great. It's an iconic moment in sci-fi cinema, I think. I really do.
Bar brawls are always are good in sci-fi. I mean, for some reason, bars are the one thing that will always be. No matter what science fiction film, there's always going to be a bar.
Well, the thing is,
there's always be conflict.
Summer Glau comes from like a dance background, so most of the stunts, I think 90% of the things she does in it, she does. It's her. It's not the stunt woman.
So she is actually.
Yeah, she trained for months to make sure she could be the person on set doing it all.
But that's great. I mean, that's when you. I think a lot of films kind of get poo-pooed on. I mean, like Pitch Black. I mean, there must be something in the Pitch Black that says, "Wow, they made a lot of effort."
Well,
to
from
make
that
it.
film, they got Chronicles of Riddick out of it, and then
they stole Katie Sackhoff, and for the third one,
they literally stole her,
bundled her in a car. Yeah, Serenity. It's one of those films where you know it's made with effort and love, and that makes a big difference.
Everybody in that film absolutely loved the characters and believed in it, because obviously it was made because of a cancelled TV show, which was Firefly.
Yeah, so fans really love it as
well. But it didn't do that well in the cinemas. Again, built a cult classic again, and now everyone wants... That's why we talked about Con Man, because Con Man has been spawned out of this.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that the idea of Serenity is not... It was not to make money. It was to service the story and the fans. And I think that it wasn't, did it make a lot of money?
Not in the cinema. It didn't do very well in the cinema because they didn't know how to market it. No one really knew what it was because we hadn't really got Firefly.
Well, yeah, but the idea would be that they could have just kind of closed it all in and kind of like explained that most science fictions have a past.
Yeah, well, the way Serenity ends is they could do more.
Oh,
THX 1138.
Oh, wait a minute, what did you skip?
Somewhat black and white. I'm not interested. Alphaville.
Oh yeah, skip that. Yeah, but call it because it might have been something really significant. Yeah. But THX
1138 1138. Have you ever seen that? Robert Duvall, Donald Pleasance, Maggie McComey.
This is George Lucas's first well-made sci-fi film.
Yeah.
And
last.
What did they do to you?
There are, of course, occasional technical or electronic errors in programming and/or surveillance which produce perverse exceptions.
I'm going to have a child.
First, they start skipping prescribed drug dosages. Then they begin touching, then indulging in various sexual acts.
I love
ultimate
this
perversion.
film.
Really good
Love.
The
For such
interesting
extreme
thing about this film that I'd like
psychobiological
to note is
misfunction, only isolation
it
will
was a
do.
totalitarian society built on the ground where it's that dystopian film.
Yeah.
Oh, let's not lose connection. Come on, guy. Come on, fella. But everybody shaves their head in it.
Yeah.
And it actually spawned a documentary about shaving your head for film.
Oh, that's
called
interesting.
Bald. And Bald basically is the whole film is just all these women with beautiful hair crying their eyes out as their head is being shaved, as we've seen later on by multiple actresses from Britney Spears. Sorry, did I call her an actress? Sigourney Weaver, Natalie Portman, both doing their hair, shaving their hair off on screen. It's kind of like it's a big thing.
Yeah.
Oh, and also Anne Hathaway
for
Les Miserables. So it's a very interesting film, though. THX. What do you think of it?
I liked it. Again, I think it's interesting. Did he write the script?
I wrote it. He directed it. He part funded it, but had a lot of help from Francis Ford Coppola. It was American Zoetrope.
It's really it's a really good script.
It is. Well, yeah, it's
so promising, that kid. Wasn't
the thing is, it's sparing. It's very sparing. The characters don't have personalities. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
They're very broken people. They're kind of like they're suppressed by drugs. They're suppressed by.
Well, if I read this little quote for you, if you feel you are not properly sedated, call 348-844 immediately. Failure to do so may result in prosecution for criminal drug evasion.
Yeah,
that's such a great line.
It is, and that's basically the announcement that goes over the tower. It says, "Be happy," it's great.
A big one for you, Solaris.
Now, this was a tricky film because when I was 15, was it what year was it released?
2002.
Oh, I was not 15. I was 22, and I should have known better.
We are in a situation that is beyond morality.
Yeah, it is.
I love you so much. What's wrong?
That's not your wife. You're dreaming her. She's alive.
You found me.
I came for you. This is my chance. You don't know what you're in for. Go back.
When you look at the front cover of the video, it came out on video.
You'll die here.
And I bought it. All this looks exciting.
We are not taking her with us. Are you going to stop me from taking her back?
And it turned out to not be science fiction or
introverted, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very internal, very personal, and I didn't like it at all when I first saw it because I had expectations that were delivered to me by a false advertising, I believe. But I came to like it.
Yeah.
After I started watching it the second time, third time, and it is a really good science fiction.
It's interesting how expectations can ruin a viewing performance. If you expect the film's going to be something and it turns out it's not that, you're like, oh, that's not what I wanted it to be. But then go back and go, oh, actually, that's really good.
I hated it so much on that first viewing that I had at the video, and I gave it to somebody. And he tried to give it me back, and I said I don't want it. He says, well, you ruined it. I hate this movie too. We both hated this, and neither of us could get rid of this video. It was like a curse. It was like we're passing it, leaving it in each other's bags. It was like, I don't want it. But yeah, I think I revisited about 5 years later, and I kind of got it, and I appreciated the performances, and yeah, it's not. It's not science fiction. This is where we start to draw the line between action and action films.
Yeah.
This is not a science fiction film. This is an emotional internal drama, psychological drama.
Yeah, it's just set in space.
Set in space, which doesn't necessarily say future.
Yeah,
it could be, of the now. So,
because the next film here is like Attack the Block. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Yeah,
but it's a good film. It's like an alien invasion film.
Yeah,
it's not done in the south end, south end of London. It's very gangs and all that,
Yeah, and then you've got venue and environment taken away from that. But you've got characterization. It's like World's End. It's also not really. It's science fiction from a character standpoint.
Yeah,
not from an actual environment or future or possible future.
Yeah. So, because Attack the Block, everyone really liked it, but I was never really that fussed with it.
I kind of threw it away. I kind of really did. I mean, I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
I watched it, but I didn't feel engaged.
Yeah, I thought as a sort of sci-fi film, it didn't quite work, and it wasn't really that funny.
No.
Just gangs being gangs, and then all of a sudden, instead of being against each other, now they've got this alien force trying to attack the block, so they rally together and overcome the differences to blah blah blah.
But you have to have those typical characters who, the one who has the big marijuana plantation, and the different typical things that you've probably seen in a Little Britain episode. Yeah. Really, and it's not. It
kind of felt like that.
Yeah, kind of felt forced. It felt trying too hard to kind of build these characterizations up, and they're not really that.
How about the adventures of Buckaroo Banzai across the 8th dimension? Here's a quote for you: "No matter where you go, there you are."
I haven't seen this.
I've never heard of that.
It's never really bounced into my my Blockbuster video card trolley.
It's quite a title.
It's quite a trolley. What am I doing with a trolley and Blockbuster videos?
He's a rocker. Doctor.
Don't tug on that. You never know what it might be attached to.
Inventor.
Activate oscillator. It's broken the sound barrier.
Philosopher.
No matter where you go, there you are.
And the only hero.
Buckaroo.
Buckaroo.
Buckaroo. Curse you, Banzai!
Who can save us all.
Evil! Pure and simple from the 8th dimension! Venom!
Launch thermal pods.
Buckaroo Banzai is pure nutty fun.
Buckaroo, you forgot your thruster.
Why don't you hold on to it for a while?
The cult sci-fi classic.
Run!
In a dimension all its own. The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai.
John
Which was Destroy Russia or number 2?
Good cast.
Good cast, but this was before they were good, right? This was before. Well, John Lithgow had done a few good things.
So the big idea is that science is, or should be, the new rock and roll, or the big synth rock. Anyway.
Yeah, well, that totally didn't go on my radar.
No. Did Fantastic Voyage, 1966.
Yeah, but not really. Not really.
I'm smashing through these. Okay, Minority Report.
Interesting.
Discuss.
Philip K. Dick. Novel.
Yes.
Film. Steven Spielberg.
Yes. All correct.
Tom Cruise. Yeah, it's a really good. It is a good film. It's been a long time since I've seen it. I do like the precogs in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a precursor to the Battlestar Galactica floaters that they have in that movie.
Yeah,
they have precogs. But yeah, it's different. Steven Spielberg did something different for a change.
He went through a stage, didn't he? Like he did AI, then he did Minority Report, and
Amistad.
And they were just so like visually striking.
Yes,
there's like a weird filter over the whole of Minority Report. It feels cool.
I'm placing you under arrest for the future murder of Sarah Marks and Donald Dubin that was take place today, April 22nd, at 0800 hours and 4 minutes.
No. Don't run.
Spielberg is such a technically great director.
He is.
Maybe sometimes scripts and stuff might fall by the wayside slightly, but technically he's an astounding director.
His detail, attention to detail, and attention to reality, the things that people normally do in a scene. They'll be doing things quite naturally.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of his strengths, is that people are quite natural in this.
And he tends to do longer takes, not loads of quick cuts, longer takes. And,
yeah, you're right.
And he's sort of famous, isn't he, for always be able to finish before the date he's supposed to finish. He'll always finish 2 weeks, 3 weeks before he's scheduled to finish. And
yeah. I guess that's his reputation.
Yeah, it is.
But that's the art of filmmaking as under an actual company.
Yeah,
it's a business. It's not always just the art form. But he's able to combine the two quite nicely.
Yeah, I think it's a really good film. I really do.
I also enjoyed in that movie the dynamic of visual screens.
Yes,
the moving things across. That
Absolutely.
was a bit of a precursor to the whole Apple swiping technology that they have now on.
Yeah,
but
which is everywhere now. I suppose that was the first time we saw it, but now you see it everywhere.
Yeah, we didn't really see it in Star Trek. Star Trek was still pushing buttons.
Yeah,
which is kind of odd. But
and had boxes that go widdly woo, widdly woo, widdly woo.
What are you doing? Yeah, the widdly woo boxes. I wish I had one. But every Star Trek fan seems to have one of those.
But also, in Minority Report, it's really funny. Do you remember the part where he has that fake eye put in and he loses it and he's chasing after his fake eye down that corridor?
Oh, that is good, yeah.
That's really funny.
They had all those little spider cameras as well that were kind of trying to infiltrate. He was trying to hide from that. So there was an element of Mission Impossible. Obviously there was an influence from the two. So, okay, what's next?
Barbarella. I have watched this many times.
I've watched it, but I haven't really followed a storyline.
There's not much storyline, but do you need it?
I kind of feel as though it's great when you're chopping vegetables.
Meet the most beautiful creature of the future. Her name is Barbarella, and she makes science fiction something else. Jane Fonda is Barbarella. Barbarella is a 5-star, double-rated astronavigatrix Earth girl whose specialty is
love.
I think it's fine just to watch and leave me alone, lock the door
in the bathtub,
and watch Jane Fonda in Zero Gravity, wearing very little.
At that age. At that age.
Oh, yeah, at that age. Yeah.
She's a great actress. I mean, I think she's one of the actresses that really you're terrified to work with. She's really that good.
Yeah.
And I've seen her in a film they shoot horses, don't they? And the way she talks people down, and the way she has quite a power.
But yeah, but it was sort of born out of its time. It was such a swinging 60s type sci-fi film, isn't it? It's psychedelic and
yes,
it's very drug fueled. And
I think Austin Powers kind of took a lot from this.
It
was very colourful. It was very bright.
And Kylie Minogue did a music video which was based on Barbarella.
Oh yeah,
she's in Zero Gravity and wearing nothing with just sheets. I watched that many times too.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's next?
The Andromeda Strain.
I love this movie. I love the woman in this movie. I can't remember her name. It was probably going to jump out.
Not the
cast. No, do you know what? They just had 3 guys.
David. Oh, sexist. Time
yeah, sexist. But do you know what? The 3 guys in this movie had no personality. She did. She was incredible. She was kind of like, she reminded me of Velma from Scooby-Doo. How she was quite intelligent, but she always had something, annoyed, and she had an annoyance about her. Rosie O'Donnell kind of a thing going on. And I found her hilariously quirky.
Yeah. And don't you think is this the first time would you say that it was the idea of aliens would not be this benevolent beasts, but more of like a microbe?
It is, yeah. This kind of spawned, excuse the pun, a whole bunch of different ideas about where aliens come from in outside of the norm. But the thing about Andromeda Strain is that it's a process movie. It takes you through the processes of every single level of security. So for a lot of it, it's kind of like explorative fiction.
Yeah.
Which is that's part of the hard-boiled science fiction element that I was kind of honing in on. That the hard-boiled is very, very descriptive about processes and how things work, and very deep in the descriptions about how things work in a very scientifically clinical way.
Yeah.
And I think that always fascinates me. And I think the remake that they did for TV movie remake was kind of okay, but it was no mark on that first movie.
Yeah. It's a long time since I've seen it. Long time.
Can you think of any movies that spawned off from the Andromeda Strain?
Would you say The Species maybe did? Because they went to Mars and then
brought back a microbe.
They brought back a microbe, which ended up being this horrific.
You've got The Stand as well.
Yeah, The Stand, yeah, absolutely.
Yes, The Stand and Invasion of Body Snatchers.
Yeah.
Which, in the first movie, I don't know if that was... the first movie was actually in the 50s, I think, or 60s.
Yeah, I think it was.
I don't know if that was actually a spawn or not.
Yeah, because it was so creepy. I remember the original one. Every version you've got is creepy, but I remember just the kid's dad when he just walks off and then comes back and now he's different.
Yeah.
Really, just something so weird and creepy about that.
Yeah.
Just to know that he looks like my dad, but that's not my dad.
Yeah, I love that.
It's such a great thing to play with, you know.
Yeah. Paranoia.
Yeah.
Love it. What's next?
Well, they put Pacific Rim here.
I thought that was Pelican Rimming. I misread it.
That's what I'm doing later.
Pacific Rim, yeah, great costumes.
I suppose it's kind of an alien invasion film. Would you say it's more of a monsters film than sci-fi? Would you say monster movies are a different?
It's Starship Troopers kind of thing, but this is like mega Transformer type of kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, it's done really well.
Yeah, and it's beautiful costumes. It's a cosplay's paradise, basically.
Yeah,
but I don't know if it was. It never really got on my radar because I'm not interested in robots fighting, even if they have got humans in them.
Well, I'm predisposed to this because Guillermo del Toro directed it, so I'm like, yeah, regardless, I'm gonna really like it. But I thought, I think for big, huge monsters fighting big, huge beasts, no, it's not been done as well as that because you can actually see what's going on. It all makes sense. Not like a Transformers film where it's like you can't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
You can't see who's who, what's fighting who.
So it's quite clear.
So, Star Trek.
The
remake.
Just one second. Aspen, can you take Elmo off your face, please? I'm just going to remove a Sesame Street character because he's killing my child. It's the Smother Me Elmo toy. Smother Me Elmo! Right, did you mention Star Trek?
Yeah, 2009 remake, J.J. Abrams.
G.I.J.J.
Yeah, MCGG.
Now, I struggled getting to grips with the change to begin with because I think that this is a movie for the new generation. It's like Star Wars Phantom Menace was a movie for the new generation, not really for the old generation.
I think it's unfair to compare Star Wars Phantom Menace with the new Star Trek.
No, because there was that kind of not the outcome, but the setup, the anticipation. You've got people who were in the 60s who watched the original Star Trek, people who were in the 80s who watched Next Generation, 90s Deep Space Nine, and you got later Voyager, and of course whatever that Enterprise thing was. And you got all the movies as well. And I think that I
think the idea of going, all right,
reboot.
I cannot compete with that. I'm not as arrogant to think I could just carry on with a different Star Trek. So imagine that something it happened that just invented an entire new timeline, so you can keep the original.
It was brave. It was
yeah,
brave.
it was brave, and I think
it works out. And I watched it, and I did enjoy the first one.
Yeah,
definitely.
I think the first one is really good. It's one of those films I can just keep going back and watch and enjoy. You know,
definitely, and I think that it's a good, strong cast, and I believe in them.
Absolutely,
as those characters.
We've received a distress call.
It's an attack.
This is your day of reckoning.
Earth may be his next target.
I've been waiting for this my whole life.
Get one shot.
Now!
I'm leaving you in command. Either we're going down, or they are.
Fire everything! Do it!
Rated PG-13, May 8th in theaters and IMAX.
Yeah, and it's a really good movie, the first one.
Yeah. You don't like Into Darkness so much, do you?
I struggle because they tried to do something, but they didn't own it as their own, and they had a far too emotional Spock doing the same things that they would have done in the alternate universe, but reversed it. Spock dies in the first so Kirk dies, but then they didn't have the guts to just follow through with that. They had to just bring him back with an antidote, but also have Spock doing Khan and these things tick me off. They could if they left that out and just had Khan as a superhuman doing superhuman things, and he had his crew of superhumans. If they just kind of kept with that, then I probably would have been happy. But they were trying too much to service the fandom, but they did that by just being cheesy, a little bit cheesy.
I just really liked it. The film is all surface. There's not really any depth there at all. But
and I think that's
you can just
why.
watch it as just being surface, I mean, what surface? It's great. I know we've discussed it before, and I can understand why you have a problem with the Spock getting the emotions get the better of him, but at that point where he was like Khan, and then you find out where he is, and then Uhura just says to him, "Go get him." I was like, "Go and kick his ass!" I was really into it. And then the part when they're fighting on top of that waste disposal unit thing.
It's a great scene.
I mean, beating the hell out of him. I was like, yes, I'm having this.
It's a great scene, but it kind of it just throws me out of Star Trek. And the thing is about it's a surface movie, but Star Trek is not surface.
No,
there's a lot more to it usually, and I kind of feel as though that they're going a little bit too Star Trek light for my books.
They're not now, are they? Simon Pegg's writing the new one.
Yeah.
It's going to be released for the 25th or 50th anniversary or something.
It'll be the 5th.
Yeah, it's got to be the 50th.
So 60. Yeah, so it'll be 2016.
Yeah, that's when they want the film to come out. But he said that it's not going to be someone. You know what people do these days because the internet. He'll say a phrase to take out of context what he was talking about. It goes all around the internet. As Simon Pegg said, it's not going to. He's been told to keep it Star Trek light, to not make it like a Star Trek film. But I don't know what he actually said was taken out of context. And I've heard him interviewed recently, and he said it's going to be a Star Trek film. There's going to be no taking away. It's going to be so Star Trek, and it's going to be right in deep space. And I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, because that's what we want. I mean, the thing is about these arch nemesis films that they keep on bringing out. There's not a lot of depth in that. It's simply there's a bad guy. He has a big ship. He's going to destroy lots of things, and they've got to get him. That's not Star Trek. That's kind of like every other film, and I kind of feel as though that Star Trek is about getting out there into the unknown and doing things that they've never done before, never got them going where they've nowhere been before. So let's kind of.
I think that's what the next film's going to be. I do think that's what it's going to be.
It's dangerous. It's just in danger of looking like every other kind of film.
I'm excited for the next one.
Good.
I really am.
I'm going to hold back my excitement until
Simon
I watch
Pegg,
it.
Mate.
He's all right.
What do you mean all right? He's a brilliant writer.
You've
Shaun of the Dead.
Yes.
Hot Fuzz. The World's End.
He's writing
Spaced.
it, but he's not directing it. He doesn't have final cut.
Well, yeah.
And that no matter how good he is, if he doesn't have final cut, or then he's going to have to put his script. He's going to have to put his trust in it as well. He's going to have to stand back and say, okay, well, I don't know what they're going to do with it, but I'm hoping that my money's well spent.
Let's have an alternate reality for a second.
Right. Okay.
How good would a Star Trek film wrote by Simon Pegg, directed by Edgar Wright be?
It would be. They would have to not make an Edgar Wright Simon Pegg film. They'd have to make a Star Trek film.
They are such nerds that it would be the Star Trek film.
It would be the Star Trek.
It would be, because they would homage it. They want to stay true to the memory of Star Trek more than anything.
That's the thing.
That's Edgar Wright's thing.
That's the thing, because William Shatner was, when he did Star Trek V, he was pinned up to being that was going to be the most amazing Star Trek film because it was William Shatner. Who knows Star Trek more than William Shatner, apart from Leonard Nimoy, who is a far superior director. Let's face it. But people were excited about Star Trek V, the final frontier, and they were thinking, what let them down was studio not giving them any money.
Yeah.
He literally had a script. He had the script to play with, and he didn't want that story. That story wasn't going to be that. It just became that, and it was just like, we've got to have Klingons. They said you've got to have Klingons. You've got to have this, and it just that's the big problem with film studios butting in, and they've got to realise that this is something. There's something more to it than just getting tropes and taking this piece and putting it in there because this worked there. Let's put this there. Everybody liked this movie, but they didn't like this movie. No, that's not entirely true. I like all of the Star Trek films, apart from Insurrection. I find that a very lame effort, really, on Jonathan Frakes' part.
Yeah, I've seen it. I don't remember anything about it, which speaks volumes.
And Nemesis was just yet another. I'm a bad guy with a big ship.
Yeah.
Let's kill. And there's more to Star Trek than. Moving on.
Okay, Avatar.
Avatar, it's moving on.
I will say with Avatar that it's a beautiful looking film.
Yeah.
It would have been nice if they spent $10 on a script.
Yeah. Flash Gordon. It's a superhero film. I'm surprised that that's never actually become anything more than that, but it's okay. What was that?
Seconds. The Prestige. That's not a sci-fi film.
Yeah, this is where people get confused about the genre itself. Science fiction originally intended to be an explorative fiction about what is possible in the future. What could happen? What is the dystopia? What is the utopia? What is the mixture in between? It's all about that. Logan's Run. Run. Love it, and it could potentially have been. They actually had a series as well. They did have one series and a season of a series for Logan's Run. That could have been the Star Trek.
You know what I think Logan's Run, the big idea of it is? I would say it's a story of radicalism and questioning authority,
in the palm
as
of
well
your
as a
hand.
critique of the society that guides youth over
This is the 23rd century.
Well, you could say that.
Sophisticated technology has created an automated world of wonders. A world beyond imagination until now. It is filled with beauty and the vitality of youth. Pleasure is the way of life. But in the 23rd century, life lasts 30 years. Not one day less, not one day more. When the crystal in the palm of your hand flashes its final message, your time is up. But there are a few rebels who run in search of sanctuary. Logan, trained to enforce the law, dares to become a runner himself. He and the girl who loves him become the hunted when they set off on Logan's Run, a fantastic adventure through the 23rd century.
Or you could just say it's Jenny Agutter. Come on, when she was good. And Michael York, who talks like that, who everybody. But Logan's Run is a favourite. I will watch that anytime.
Yeah, here's another favourite of mine, Westworld.
Love this movie. Love this.
I think we can do a podcast just on Westworld.
And Future World, because apparently there is a sequel. Westworld. It is available on Amazon Prime. I can watch it. So I've been hanging on to watch that.
We will soon be landing at Westworld, the ultimate resort.
We have you on grid 5, over.
It consists of 3 worlds of the past.
Locking in now.
Worlds where you can live out your every fantasy. There's Roman world, the lusty, decadent delights of imperial Pompeii.
Notify ground crews.
Medieval world, chivalry and combat in 13th century Europe. And Westworld, lawless violence on the American frontier of 1880.
Bacon, cinnamon toast.
Each resort is maintained by reliable computer technology and peopled by lifelike robot men and women.
Let's stand by for resort activation.
Ready on 6, on 5, on 4, on 3, on 2. Activate.
Where nothing can possibly go wrong.
I'm shot.
Go wrong.
Raw.
Go wrong.
Oh my God.
Shut down. Shut down immediately. Westworld from MGM. Starring Yul Brynner, Richard Benjamin, and James Brolin. Westworld, the ultimate resort. Boy, do we have a vacation for you, for you, for you, for you.
I mean, how good is that?
Honestly, that film is great. The Abyss?
The Abyss is a fascinating little piece from James Cameron. I think it was quite a daring film. Quite a different film.
Because they created the technology that was used in Terminator 2, didn't they? With the water and how the water behaves. They created it for that.
Yes.
And then that gave him the idea of the liquid Terminator.
This was the platform for that. And I think it was...
In 1984,
yeah,
director James Cameron thrilled audiences with his vision of the future, the Terminator. In 1986, he created the science fiction masterpiece, Aliens. This summer, he will take you into a world no man has ever seen before. The Abyss. Believe your eyes.
Right. Theatrical cut, director's cut.
Oh. I'd stick with the theatrical cut.
So would I.
Because
director's cut's too on the nose.
It's, yeah, you're right. It's too... Humans are bad, but there is hope.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't need to say that. Just be ambiguous about it. You don't have to explain why you're letting him go.
Yeah, precisely.
It's because of love. Again, it's like Interstellar. There's a love moment.
The idea of love is the universal constant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think I'd rather have that than weapons are bad. You people are going to die.
Huge tidal wave.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that one. Yeah, I mean it's very rare that does adding stuff actually make you feel uneasy about it. It made me feel uneasy watching the director's cut.
His Cameron it was the start of his downfall for me.
But he did the same. But the thing is,
the ego thing. You know what I mean?
Same thing in Terminator 2, though. The whole idea of humans are trying to destroy themselves. I think he was going through a bit of a phase.
Yeah.
Of damn you, humanity.
I just remember
I blame his marriage.
being interviewed.
Systems are normal. You guys hearing the song? Okay, I'm down.
He's giving the interview underwater.
Yes.
Scuba gear. I was thinking,
the whole documentary was underwater as well.
Descending to 1,000 feet. I don't see the bar yet. Looks like it must have sunk pretty low.
With a dying thirst to be the first. Could it be? Yeah, that's him, James Cameron.
Yeah, he'd actually had to do the behind the scenes himself. He did his own documentary behind the scenes underwater. So it's like a part of me kind of just wants to rip his face off and say, just get over yourself.
Yeah.
But then the other part of me says, put his face back on and let him do some more sketches because they are really good.
Well,
he's a good storyteller.
Yeah. One of my favourite things he's done in recent memory, though, is The Ghost of the Abyss, with the Titanic documentary.
Yeah.
With Bill Paxton, to go down there and look at the wreckage of the Titanic. I went watching that in IMAX, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, and that's where he got value as a more of a I'd like to see him as a documentarian, a documentary filmmaker,
Maybe
getting out there and being, because he likes to be a part of everything that he does. Why not just be a part of that? Like,
because when Avatar 2, 3, 4, 5 million comes out in the next few years, is anyone going to care?
No,
I'm not bothered.
I'm not bothered. I don't think I'm anticipating. I don't think anybody else is, apart from toy makers and manufacturers and McDonald's.
Yeah,
that's it.
War of the Worlds, the original one, 1953.
The film, it's a good film. I actually did. I did buy the DVD. I do enjoy that film. It's I think it's up there somewhere. It's it's exciting. It's fun. It's colourful, and it's good to have in the background.
Yeah, I like that film. Okay, Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior. Would you say these are sci-fi films?
That's a dystopian future film, but it is not really science fiction. Yeah, it's tricky. I think of science fiction as being an advancement of human.
Yeah. And
then there's dystopian future. Different spawns of science fiction.
Gravity. Okay.
Yeah, it's not really science fiction again. This is stuff that could actually happen now. This is a space drama for today.
Yeah. Donnie Darko. That's not sci-fi. It's more of a psychological.
It's not sci-fi. No. The only thing is the dimensional shift in it. But that's really, Dune. This is not the Jodorowsky's Dune.
This is Lynch's.
Lynch's Dune.
Yeah.
Which everybody thought was probably going to be different to what it is. I mean, I think it's very, very Blade Runner-esque.
Yeah, famously turned down.
Dino De Laurentiis presents Dune.
You know what? This is what happens when you're using the internet.
A world where the mighty.
It's coming from an ad.
The mad.
All I can see is an Atreides that I want to kill.
And the magical.
The sleeper has awakened!
Will have their final battle. A world called Dune.
Long live the fighters!
Dune, rated PG-13. Starts Friday at select theaters.
You have to find the ad. It's there, just a little bit further down.
There's mute on this thing.
I got it.
Alright.
There you go. Before they actually tell us what they're actually advertising, and then we can continue.
Yeah, not bothered.
Dune, you just went down.
Yeah, Dune. So yeah, he famously turned down directing Return of the Jedi to do Dune.
Which, yeah, he was too intimidated by the idea of Return of the Jedi.
Was he?
Yeah, he actually went to the ranch and he actually explained.
I was asked
in an interview,
by George
he just felt it was not his world.
Come up to see him.
Thing.
Well, I can imagine
intimidated
about directing, which would be the third Star Wars, and I had next door to zero interest. But I always admired George. George is a guy that does what he loves, and I do what I love. The difference is what George loves makes hundreds of billions of dollars. So I thought I should go up and at least visit with him. And it was incredible. I had to go to this building in LA first and get a special credit card, and I had to get special keys, and a letter came and a map. And then I went into the airport, and I flew up, and then they had a rental car all ready for me, and this keys, and everything was set, and I was to drive to this place. And I came into an office, and there was George. And he talked with me for a little bit, and then he said, I want to show you something. Now, right about in this time, I started getting a little bit of a headache. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. So he took me upstairs, and he showed me these things called Wookiees. And now this headache is getting stronger. And he showed me many animals and different things. Then he took me for a ride in his Ferrari for a lunch. And George is kind of short, so his seat was way back, and he was almost laying down in the car. We were flying through this little town up in Northern California. We went to a restaurant. Not that I don't like salad, but that's all they had was salad. Then I got a really, almost like a migraine headache. And I could hardly wait to get to home. And even before I got home, I kind of crawled into a phone booth and phoned my agent. I said, there's no way, no way I can do this. He said, David, calm down. You don't have to do this.
Yeah, but June's not really his... Well, it could have been his world, but he famously took his name off it. He made it an Alan Smithy film.
Yeah, because of the
studio just butchered the film he made.
Yeah, they made a horrible opening sequence. It was like you might as well just given everybody a leaflet and told to just skip the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Read the leaflet. That's what it was. But the film itself, I thought it was enjoyable.
It's okay. It's watchable.
I find Alia hilarious.
Yeah.
Because she kind of reminds me of somebody I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
That won't be good for anyone else listening, though, will it?
No.
I don't know that person.
but it's kind of... It's a freaky film. It's a good film.
Okay. Predator. I suppose that is kind of sci-fi. There's an alien.
Yes, it is. It's it's that kind of thing again where it's just purely aliens on Earth now.
I like the idea. It's a sport for the alien just to get down there, and he's just killing people for fun.
Yeah,
just for sport.
But this is kind of like the precursor. That was the precursor to all these first-person shooters.
Yeah,
movies, and it's kind of like it feels like that. Yeah, where you're hunting people for sport. That's what people do on computers now. Yeah, they hunt each other down for sport. That's great.
Under the Skin.
Yes,
I love that film.
And again, it's not science fiction-esque. It's more.
But it sort of is
you
because
don't
she's
know
an alien.
She's an alien, but you don't really kind of. It's not done in the conventional way.
No.
She doesn't have an alien ship where she drags her bodies up into it and then she...
No, she has a horrible council house.
She has a horrible council house.
She takes guys into, and you never really know what happens to these guys.
No, but
because it's always very surreal. There's just be this really beautiful image of her naked in a pool, and the guy just walks into a pool, and then something happens.
It's all right if you've got a big TV, but
I've got a huge TV.
Oh man, but yeah, it's an interesting twist on the science fiction genre, and I found it pleasantly surprising.
And just at the very end, where she sort of found like a lease for life, hasn't she? She's found this respect for humankind because of the interaction she's had, and at the very end, she strips her skin off, and you see the alien, and the guy just kills her.
That's it.
Doesn't any more need to be said than that, really, does it?
Starship Troopers. This is your Paul Verhoeven take on how propaganda brings young people into the war, and how they pumped it up, souped it up to the max. This was actually quite an exciting lead up before it was actually they released the soundtrack on a newspaper.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was like exciting.
I kind of like this film.
It's a good film. It's got some nice characters in it. You've got it's very likable. That's kind of it. The bug hunt's exciting.
Every school kid knows that arachnids are dangerous.
They could have put their money into something a little bit more original. But this one.
However, Mormon extremists disregarded federal warnings and established Port Joe Smith, deep inside the arachnid quarantine zone. Too late, they realized that Dantana had already been chosen by other colonists, arachnids. Would you like to know more?
I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I think the sequels shied away from any kind of commentary on any kind of social commentary, didn't they? But just straight up just fighting insect like things,
And then after this, Paul Verhoeven made Showgirls,
and a really good sci-fi.
Yeah, nothing's real in that movie.
No. Here we go.
What else you got? Contact, love that. What's that?
This morning's detection of an unidentified radio source from deep space can neither be confirmed nor denied.
Whatever it is, it ain't local.
Position? It's only 26 light years away.
Your having sent this announcement all over the world may well constitute a breach of national security.
Boy, this isn't a person-to-person call. This may be an announcement to get our attention.
It's a great film.
Yeah.
And I love that people were annoyed about it and were upset because they didn't see aliens. And they were disappointed because of the ending, but they didn't get it. They didn't get it. This is a personal journey of a girl who lost her father and was looking for her dad. And that was it. There was more. There's so much more to it.
It's a very, very deep
existential film.
Yeah. And the idea that if an alien force, presence, whatever you want to call it, would show itself to us, it'd do it in a way that we understand.
But then not be able to record or to see or to, and that's something as well. I mean, I always think that this whole UFO science fiction idea of things flying overhead, I don't believe any of that. I don't believe any encounter that has been captured on video is actually we've said it's not this one alien called Ralph who just basically Kev. Is it Kev now?
Kev the alien.
Kev the alien who's
the one rubbish one who keeps setting the alarms off.
And keeps getting caught, on camera and
I've got this probe. Kev, enough with the probes, mate. We've not done that for the hundreds of years. Yeah, but I've got it. Come on, let's just try it. Stick it up his butt. Kev, no. What's the point?
Let's go back to his ship. Where have you left your ship? Oh, I parked it in the middle of the Tucker Bell.
Yeah, I cloaked it. I can't see it, mate. I can't remember where I put it.
There's like 15 cars. You parked on a highway. There's like cars everywhere.
There's a big pile
into it. Big pile up. It's like, Kev, why? You're supposed to be quiet and secretive, and you didn't use your cloud cover this time.
Yeah, but he's like the guy who runs the universe. It's his son, so he has to go on all the thing.
Yeah,
otherwise they get in trouble.
Yeah.
Take Kev, will you? So make sure he doesn't get in any trouble. Oh no!
Yeah, it's like again.
The guys are back.
But this is it. This is where aliens are secretive. They're not necessarily going to show themselves. They cover their tracks. I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Ooh, contact. Here you go. Is it
the quote?
No, is Carl Sagan the unsung hero of modern science fiction? We often hear about the scientist who were inspired by his 1980 Cosmos TV series, but it must be the same for authors and filmmakers, seeing through Sagan's wise eyes how vast, rich and strange our universe is. An occasional novelist, Sagan's best-known work is Contact, the story of a young astronomer played with great dignity by Jodie Foster in this movie version.
Jodie Foster.
Jodie Foster. Released barely a year after Sagan's death. Oh, I didn't know that. Who received a signal from outer space, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, and it's a great storyline. They send back the image of Hitler. It sends chills down your spine when you think about it, that they can look at any part of our history and think that's who we are and that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It'd
be if they wanted like an advanced species wanted to show themselves to us, they'd probably come down in a huge ship shaped like the M from McDonald's and just coming down the ship. You know what I mean?
They would, and the first thing they would say, "Would you like fries with that?" That's their slogan. That's how they say hello.
Would you like to go large?
Do you want to go large?
Do you want to supersize?
Yeah. They say, it's great.
Yeah,
love it.
And then they just feed us.
They just eat. Yeah. Take me to your feeder.
Yeah. District 9.
District 9, not really interested. I kind of felt uncomfortable watching that movie.
Really?
Yeah, I kind of felt I felt as though we were setting the wrong example for humanity. Sorry.
Okay.
It's true. I felt very uncomfortable with us.
But that's kind of the point. That's how
exactly.
It's a commentary how South Africans have been treated. Or how the governments have treated the people, especially black people.
Yeah, and I kind of get that it's a social commentary again. It's not directly on the nose saying what it's supposed to be saying, but because I knew that going in, I kind of couldn't watch it as aliens are here,
right.
And it just didn't seem. I just.
Well, just the idea of like these aliens come down to make contact with us, and we just make them live in squalor and lock them in a certain part, and don't let them
But that's
having your freedom.
exactly probably how we would do it. I mean, I see it as a very strong sense of reality. That's probably what we would do. We'd be so paranoid. We wouldn't want to give them any leeway. Keep them secure. But
because isn't that the day the Earth stood still? Doesn't that happen when they come down? The first thing someone does is shoot them.
The Earth stood still was the big mecha man comes down and and they start shooting at him, and then they say, well, we're gonna literally just aim at, we're gonna come down and we're gonna destroy you. You've got to give us a reason before the end of the movie as to why we shouldn't do that. So yeah,
okay,
not a lot to really say about it, but yeah. Okay, so next, Total Recall, the original, of course.
Yeah.
It's great fun.
Yeah,
fun special effects. Arnold Schwarzenegger kicks ass.
Yeah.
It's kind of an action film, but it's science
I've never read the
fiction
book.
led,
It's a Philip K. Dick book again, isn't it?
Yeah, he's very very detailed writer.
I listened to a podcast where someone's thought this guy believes in time travel. He believes that Philip K. Dick could travel through time, and that's how he was so brilliant.
So detailed
of what was going to come. I suppose looking at it from the aspect of you get great science fiction, and we want that. How can we make that work? And that influences how science goes. There you
Science fiction. Silent Running. Silent Running is an incredible movie. I watched the documentary as well because they filmed it all on an old aircraft carrier.
Right.
And everything that you see in it is a lot of the interior ship scenes were real from the aircraft carrier, and they literally lived on an aircraft carrier, and Bruce Dern would do laps around the actual aircraft carrier every day before he actually went down. So when he came back down, he was hot and sweaty and looked manic because he's always kind of like just half knackered himself before the shoot.
Well, I think I need to watch that film again because it's a long time since I've seen it, and you speak so highly of it.
Yeah, I love it. I saw it years and years ago, and he's got 3 little robots, Huey, Dewey, and Louie in it, and I think they're incredible. I think they've got so much personality, those little characters. And again, it's got social commentary. We've destroyed all the Earth, and there are no trees left. But
it's got the ending's really depressing, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah, he just dies.
Yeah,
and they leave all the arboretums that they've been saving, the last green trees on Earth, the last plants ever.
Yeah.
This is it. They're being kept alive by a robot that's just watering everything, keeping it alive. It's just drifting out into space on its own. So humanity has kind of lost it.
Yeah, I just remember watching it as a kid, and just the ending just really affected me.
Yeah,
you're just feeling really sort of
just one robot left, just watering everything.
Yeah.
And it's like that's the future of humanity. But the beautiful music as well.
Tune in, guys.
Yeah, great. Get in, get some of that. What's next?
12 Monkeys.
I love 12 Monkeys. I think it's the best Monkeys film.
Yeah.
Out of the other 11 were a little bit disappointing. I saw it in the cinema.
Okay.
And I at the end of that, I was like, what? I was so amazed by what it blew my mind. It was very again, Bruce Willis being Bruce Willis like for a change.
Yeah, so some directors can really get a good performance out of him.
Yes, and I like that. It's a good film.
AI.
It's a very it's quite upsetting, that film. The idea of children being replaced because one's in a coma, and as soon as he comes back, they dump the robot. I mean, it's quite. It's a heartstring movie. But the journey that he goes on is a kind of I can't remember it, but he meets Jude Law and he's a gigolo, and I think that's all you have to say about that. What do you reckon to it?
I think it's a really good film. Everyone sort of says that Spielberg did it because Kubrick died and it was like an homage to him, but in reality, Kubrick rang Spielberg and said, "I've got this script. I think it's something you should do. It's not for me."
That's it.
You know what I mean? So the film you see is a film that would have been, regardless.
People think, that there was that whole thing about thinking that that Steven Spielberg took and ruined what could have been a classic Stanley Kubrick movie. But people need to get out of themselves. It was a serviceable film, but
I think it's a really good film. It's not a classic, but it's really good.
I don't think it's as memorable as it could have been.
Right, Moon.
Now we're getting somewhere. Moon's one heck of a film. It's this is the new generation of filmmakers are really kind of taking science fiction on a bit of a spin.
Yeah, and directed by David Bowie's
son, yeah,
Duncan Jones.
It's good. It's good work. Good job. And Kevin Spacey is the robot.
It's a really good film.
Yes. Next,
Matrix.
Yeah.
First Matrix is brilliant.
Yeah, classic. They should have just stopped it there.
Yeah. Or maybe turn the 2 and 3 into just one film.
Yeah.
Because the second one, Reloaded, was okay. Because I like Kung Fu cinema and it was full of that, so I enjoyed that aspect of it. The third one was just terrible. Bad dialogue. It was awful. Okay. The Thing.
Great film. I watched it over and over again.
John Carpenter's best film.
Yeah,
arguably.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's either that or Halloween. Halloween will always be probably my favourite horror film.
It's mass marketable and it's great, but Thing is kind of like a little bit more of a distance. It's
this is a film that gets inside you, literally like The Thing.
Yeah, no pun intended. It's very
You feel cold and you
paranoid.
feel paranoid and you feel distance from.
I just think the characters are hilarious, though. I mean, Kurt Russell is so underplayed in this movie. It's so real, and the Norwegians and I kind of like the new remake as well because they kind of went onto the Norwegian side.
Yeah. And I like when he's the straps to that chair. Like, I know we've all had a bad day, but I'd really not want to spend the rest of my day tied to this fucking chair. Such a
great film.
E.T.
the Extraterrestrial, beautiful music. We don't talk about music a lot in science fiction, but music is kind of very, very strong.
I feel like
it's always operatic, I guess.
When you don't realise how good music is in a film, that's when it's really good.
True. When it becomes a part of the
when
film.
you start listening to it and thinking, "Oh, right," that's when it's bad. It's starting to interfere with the film and taking you. Because you should be so focused on what's happening on the screen, the plot, whatever's going on, and the music's there to enhance that. If you start thinking about the music, then the film's not very good. You know what I'm saying?
But the thing about the music with this one is that if you took it out, it would just be lacking so much emotion, and I think that's what John Williams is there for. Empire
Strikes Back.
Yeah, we like Star Wars.
The first Terminator.
It's a great film. Metropolis. No, I did a re-edit of this. I was because I decided. Speaking of John Williams and score and music, I rescored Metropolis.
Wow!
Because
Radio Gaga.
I hated Queen version of Metropolis so much. I ripped it onto my computer and I just basically took the Jedi Outcast Night score from the game because it was all in MP3s and I just overlaid it.
Wow.
I have that version. Basically,
have you ever put that online?
I don't think I can, but
just don't make any money out of it.
Yeah, I'll just pop it on. But yeah, I've got a version that just basically is score from Star Wars, and it works.
Classic film, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a classic.
Yeah.
Brazil, nice and dark and twisted. Yeah, aliens.
It's an action film.
Yeah, we've talked about the Alien franchise for
Franchise.
Yeah. Okay, Close Encounters.
That's a good film.
Is this it? This is basically
You can tell
this is how we're going to end it. That's a good film.
I need to be teaching in half an hour. So
well, literally, yeah. I mean, shall we just cap it off at Close Encounters, or do you have? Is this like an ultimate top 10 now?
I think. I was going to say, what do you think is the best sci-fi film then? We've got at number 1 here is 2001: A Space Odyssey. At number 2 is Blade Runner.
I think 2001: A Space Odyssey is the ultimate hard-boiled science fiction movie, where science is kind of like a part
Close
of the
Encounters of the Third Kind begins in an Indiana town.
20 minutes of Close Encounters
and leads to one inescapable conclusion. We are not alone. A Columbia Pictures presentation.
Now playing at a theater near you.
It's incredible. It's
Yeah,
incredible.
it
I
really
think
is.
The ideas,
Unbelievable.
the ingenuity, there's so much in that movie that I love because of the design of that film. It's a worldwide thing as well. They didn't just stick with America. You know, it was happening everywhere. They got Francois Truffaut in there and doing his thing. And, you know, it wasn't short-sighted, it was global-sighted, even though it does end up in South Dakota, Wyoming, in Devil's Tower, which I still want to visit. But yeah, Close Encounters is probably my second favourite, but it's probably my favourite alien visitation story.
Yeah. But when Close Encounters, the part that gets me the most is not when the car flips and does the thing, you know, where all the anti-gravity thing happens in this car outside. Well, it's when all that stops and he looks outside and it's deadly quiet and you just see this colossal
vessel
thing just floating in the sky,
throwing its torch down.
Just very quiet. Yeah, and every now and again this torch comes down.
Yeah, perfect.
Just Spielberg, man.
Yeah, love it.
I've seen
Blade Runner, I think, is the ultimate dystopian creature.
All those moments will be lost in time, like tears in rain.
Definitely sci-fi.
Definitely, and you can certainly feel a part of the environment. The ambience of it. Vangelis' score is tremendous. It's something you can listen to isolated without anything else.
And by watching what Ridley Scott has done and can do, it's so he just stopped taking things seriously. Maybe I don't know, but
I don't know what it is. I mean, anybody like Robert De Niro has stopped taking his career seriously.
Yeah, with De Niro though, if he kept up that level,
he would be dead by now, probably.
Yeah, being immersed in the character so much.
I think he just needed to lighten up. But he's never been in a science fiction movie. I mean, he was in Brazil, but he's never done anything like that. Al Pacino's never really done anything like that. They're very grounded. Meryl Streep needs to get out into space.
I'd love to see a De Niro in space. It'd be great. Maybe it'll be in Independence Day 2.
You never know.
The Vice President.
Yeah. Now it's not over him. It's not beyond him now. But yeah, that's it. I mean, you've got three films. 2001, Close Encounters, and Blade Runner. I think they're the three films that...
The perfect films.
Perfect science fiction films.
Yeah. I'm happy with that. I'm going to go and teach now.
You go and teach?
Okay.
I'm going to go and hope that Baby is not being smothered by Elmo.
Let's go check that now.
Let's go and see. Yeah, let's go.
Bye.
We understand that there is a time and a place for watching blockbuster movies. And there is also a time and a place for enjoying quick and easy food. That time is Cinedine. We've combined the state-of-the-art movie ritual within our fast-growing change of multiplex cinemas with the must-have dining experience. Your attention and enjoyment of popcorn movies is enhanced by 3,000% thanks to our fully disclosed secret ingredient which you can enjoy within all of your favorite food items. Popcorn, hot dogs, nachos with Ed's special liquid cheese, and not to mention our Cinedine menu with food suitable for all ages, religions, and counterculture professionals. At Cinedine, we are proud to use British meat, which is also suitable for all vegetarians, vegans, and diabetics. And for those fussy little children who are ready to sit down and glance occasionally at the screen, every food item contains sherbet of some description. Even our economically sized popcorn boxes are edible.
That's right. You can even eat the plates, Dad.
That's right, little one. Cinedyne has listened, and we know what makes your next movie experience the best one you've ever had. Until next time, that is. Cinedyne. Fanatical about food.
It's like with Blade Runner. I have to have them all. See the differences there and then. I have to have that comparison.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's somehow put all five.